The basis for this video is just to show how you would want to start if you want the game to be super easy for at least the first few hours, Sekihara or Kaga at the latest. The video is mainly for new players or people that want to start over after being gone for a very long time, returning players and whatnot. To begin, it's super simple. Make your waifu however you want. The options are pretty limited though. Once you're done with creation, we have types. I'll cover these more in detail in another video. But for a brief explanation, Darien is what you would want to pick 9 times out of 10 if you want to play anything else aside from staff or wand. Once you have that done, give yourself a creative name. Once you are in the game, you have the obligatory tutorial. Nothing too complicated, just have to get familiarized with the skills and how they work in a kind of meh fashion. After that little thing, you get the tutorial boss. He's cake, so don't worry, only dagger for the win. From then on, you'll have to talk to NPCs and pretend you care about them. Pro tip: for PS4, holding R1 and X will skip through the dialogue pretty quickly, or you can just click on skip. After all that is done, you'll have your first legit dungeon, Training Grounds. Make sure to put on the Magatama that you are given, else you cannot enter. Also note, when starting the game, always do dungeons on hard. They have the best drop chance for mags, short for Magatama. Early on, you will be pretty weak and only affinity will be carrying you through. Just put on whatever you get to drop until you find better ones to replace them. Don't want to be using defense mags for very long, as it does not do as much as you would hope. More on that later. This is Yoshitsune, one if not the most important of the partner characters, and she's a total bitch. I'll go into more detail later. Quick side note, you will want to turn the in-game audio down because it can be very loud, especially for streaming or recording purposes. After you kill Kyokotsu and meet a mysterious woman, it's back to talking to NPCs again, but now it's time to actually care about them. One of the most important things to keep in mind is your partner levels or affection levels. Not only will it give them more abilities to help you or make them better at what they do, in some cases the story cannot continue until they have reached a certain level. Each partner likes a certain item and hates another. For instance, Lady Shizuka loves friendship pendants, these little cushion-like things. And Yoshitsune likes books. Wish they were smithing for dummies. Might increase your chances of not getting a grade 0 weapon that took you months to make. As you play, you unlock achievements. Most are pretty meh, but some are a good early boost such as skill card sets and gacha tickets and mags, which you will have to go to your presents box to receive them. Another pro tip, move to Resurrection Point will be your friend for the entire game. If you know where you will appear, it cuts down on runtime massively. While on pro tips, and nothing is really going on here aside from running, while in a dungeon, jumping into the exit portal will lock your cursor on yes, saving a few seconds of moving it to yes by yourself. Also, while in a dungeon, going through a portal will give you full SP, so if you want to buff with Rapid Storm, Meditation, or whatever, go for it. On the downside, if you are poisoned or have any other negative status effect, that will run while you're in the loading screen, so you can potentially die while loading, which can cause your cursor to glitch out and you'll have to reset the game. Also, if you use a keyboard to type, hitting N will show your quest markers. From here on, it's just talking to more NPCs and following your quest marker. Main quests are either yellow or orange, side quests are blue or sometimes green, pink are only at the beginning of the game and only activate if you have Lady Shizuka or Yoshitsune out in the field in Kikigahara. While you play, you will level up, and you will want to allocate your points into the stats that give you affinity for your weapon class. For this video, I'm using both Twin Swords and the Oni Dagger, so Dex for the Twin Swords and Power for Swords. I would not recommend splitting your stats early on unless you know what you are doing. Once again, if you pick up any mags, be sure to equip them. This dungeon is pretty basic, but keep in mind some dungeons will require you to talk to someone at the end via a question mark or a cutscene will automatically play, so be sure to stay in the dungeon until you are sure there is nothing to talk to. Back here again, you'll have more dialogue to go through. Afterwards, it's back to Onigashima, and if you want to save time on the return trip, hit move to res point to return in front of the portal back to Onigashima. Kinshinden is kind of an early gauntlet, not from its difficulty, it's just a lot of walking. Fairly simple, but it may be challenging on hard for newer players. mainly due to the boss, Chief Daruma, but if you play it safe and don't get hit with the burn status, you'll be just fine. This is also a good early farm for Magatamas. I can't really say any off the top of my head aside from cancers for spear. At a certain HP, Chief Daruma will cast a barrier on himself, a big green diamond, and he will no longer take damage. You have to kill the Darumas that spawn in to drop the barrier. For Chief Daruma, his attacks are fairly simple to dodge aside from his pipe attack that sends out smaller Darumas on fire that sometimes home onto you, but mainly fly out randomly. Now that Kishinden is done, you will need to go to the rift via the teleport crystals. There's an NPC named Shifuri, and you need to exhaust all of her dialogue, leave, then come back for her to take you to the edge of the rift. After that exchange, wardings in Onigashima will be available to you, and that's exactly what we want. Coming back to Onigashima, we will want to climb these stairs and talk to Shifuri, materialized. Then select Daily Dungeons, XP Ticket Farm, Normal. These tickets are level restricted and cannot be used till you are a certain level. Level 1 tickets cannot be used until level 30. Level 2 cannot be used until you're level 101. And level 3 cannot be used till level 121. With that said, if you are not level 30 by this point, just continue through the story until you hit level 30. Doing dungeons on hard and praying for a gold Daruma to spawn. Gold Darumas used to be easier to kill before types were introduced to the game. Poison Cloud Wands are the best choice in dealing with them, but Poison Rapid Shot works as well and can often be a better alternative against the first 2 tiers of Gold Daruma. You can't run that fast, so range is your friend here. Gold Darumas will only spawn when you are a similar level to the monsters you are fighting, and are less likely to spawn when there is a higher level in the group with you. They give a lot of XP when killed and can drop stones and money boxes on death. But they can be slippery little bastards and stun you over and over. If you do not kill them fast enough, they will just leave. Thanks to that Daruma and clearing the dungeon, I was able to hit level 30, so now I can use my tickets and level up massively. Once again, I recommend putting your points into the stats for weapons you plan on using. Until you hit 100 in that stat, then move on to the next. Unless you got a Magatama of Knowledge or anything of that sort, you will only be using one weapon type and a staff for support. So to close off, you'll want to max out your main stat, then put some into mind so you can cast Rapid Storm just for starters. But by the end, you'll want to have at least 75 total mind to be able to cast Resurrection. Thanks for watching. I hope this was informative, though it was a bit longer than I was hoping for. This is just a broad guide for the first hour of play or so. The main reason I'm making this guide is just to help newer players understand the game better. I don't have any footage of this, but about 2 weeks ago, when I was just sitting in Onigashima, a new player couldn't figure out where he had to go since his quest markers were not appearing. Kinda silly, but it could happen. And with this knowledge, it could help someone who was completely lost. I mainly make videos showcasing Vanguard's quick easy things, but if you would like more guide videos structured like this, let me know. The showcase videos won't end either way, but if you have something you would want to know, I will try my best to make an informative video on how to do the thing. I have a few more ideas on what I could make. I mean, it's only been 2 years since my axe video. More to come soon. I'll get around to it eventually.